Every single brick that is laid in every single mission in California was laid by a Native American, not by a Spaniard. And that is a fact.
Interesting.
So they were enslaved, and then, there were these ideas. I mean, there were uproarings there were fights, and people were killed, and priests were killed, and the natives were killed. I mean, it wasn't an easy overtaking, but eventually the
what
government...
did they overtake? I mean, you're saying that...
all the land. I mean, they took over the ability to rule over this land.
Right. So you couldn't move the way you could move before.
You couldn't move at all. You were considered a savage. So that was built into when the Declaration of Independence was signed, 4 days later, the Indian Removal Act was signed. So that declaration was created for white people that were coming over from Europe. It was never intended for the Native Americans.
Right.
And it says very specifically if you look at the way that a Native American has been, the narrative about our people is that we are merciless Indian savages. So the whole idea was that we needed to be saved by the church, and they needed to beat the Indian out of us in order to save our souls. And so the whole manifest destiny came over with the idea that God had given permission to the settlers to come over and take over the land in the name of God. And this is always something that happens in history, right? This happened here. And so my great-grandfather was born in the 1890s, and he was ripped out of my great-grandmother's arms and put to a school, which was a re-indoctrination school. It still stands today. It's in Riverside. It's called Sherman Institute. Now they've changed it to Sherman Indian School. But this is where they literally beat the Indian out of you, put you as children in work camps, and sent you back home when you were about 18, where you no longer spoke the language, you had a Christian name, and they wanted to reform you. So at that time, the reservations were created. So it's kind of a deep past when you think about it's a heavy subject.
You mentioned before about trauma, and I'm curious about it because more from a personal perspective for the native. Is that how do you call yourself? What do you call yourself?
We call ourselves Native American.
Native American. Okay.
Within the society, we call each other Indians because we are reclaiming that.
Got it. Okay.